Let's give Diana a stab at this. Diana, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good.
Good. What do you got for me tonight?
So, going back to this whole boss babe thing, my
Yeah.
question would be um kind of like, how do we as women who maybe are I don't want to say like super big boss babes, but like just confident in who we are as a person, confident in our careers, our lives as they are, how do we tone it down without changing who we are as a person?
Yeah, that's tough, isn't it? Because what do you do for a living?
So I am a physical therapist by trade, but I'm a PPS coordinator right now. So I do coding and chart reviews and all that stuff for a hospital to make sure we don't get audited.
Okay. Yeah. So how do you turn that off is what the question is.
How do I what?
How do you turn that off is what you're asking me?
Well, my question was like just in dating, right? I have been labeled as aggressively sarcastic because that's my personality. But
Yeah.
I do have friends and myself, like I have a doctor of physical therapy degree. Not that I'm going airing out that stuff to people like on a first date or anything like that. But I just find that maybe sometimes, yeah, that is intimidating. But I don't want to like not be who I am as a person just because somebody else feels intimidated by that. That to me seems like maybe their confidence level is not where it needs to be. But watching the clip that you showed of that date, which was a very awkward scenario all the way around.
How often do
um,
you see that in your own personal life when you date?
I see it often.
Like the softer guys are difficult, they're awkward, socially anxious, they're not calibrated to the conversation. You see that a lot?
I see it, I would say 50-50 is how often I see it.
Mhm.
Just because I like watching that was hard to watch. I don't rattle off questions left and right like that. I like to be asked a question and marinate
Mhm.
on it for a little bit. Firing off questions, I mean, you might as well just like, here's my resume at that point kind of situation.
Mhm.
But there are definitely times, and I don't know if it's just because people are nervous that the conversation is awkward, which is totally fine. I give people the benefit of the doubt. But in those situations, it's difficult as a female to be labeled that way. And so, yeah, I'm just wondering what is the easiest way, or how um, could we be perceived better? And again, I don't know if it might just be, I'll chalk it up to personality at that point.
Yeah, your personality's pretty much hardwired by the time you're in your 20s and 30s, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
How old are you?
33.
Yeah. And what's your plan? Are you dating? You looking for a guy, boyfriend, family? Like, what's the strategy for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm single. I'm looking. I'm not aggressively looking. I'm not that type of female that like is trying, like we watched. I feel like that's another thing. There's women out there out of desperation because, oh,
Mm,
we're in our 30s. Oh, woe is me. All my friends have kids. And
mm,
that's just not how I am. I want my life to turn out the way it's supposed to.
mm.
So yeah, I'm dating, like out there looking to date, but I'm not trying to get married tomorrow either.
Yeah.
So
But I mean, like, you understand there's a timeline though, and like you have to sort of get things moving if you want to have a family, right? Like, it's not something that you can put off for too late.
no, it's not. But at the end of the day, I realize that either it's in the cards for me or it's not. I'm not going to force
Got it.
something. I'm not going to force somebody to be with me or settle because I want a family and I'm on a timeline.
Yeah. Um, so, I mean, the guys in the chat sort of talk amongst themselves. That's how chat seems to work. But you're throwing off like strong boss girl vibes, right? It's like, I got this. I'm good either way. I do well in life. Everything's good. You've taken care of yourself. You're obviously an attractive woman. You can date. You don't have a problem with that. But what you're going to start running into is, I mean, you're starting to see it right now, is that about half the guys you're dealing with, they're not very masculine, right? They don't know how to calibrate to a girl to begin with, let alone a strong girl, because that's what you are, right?
Mhm.
Have you always lived by yourself?
Yes.
For how long?
I've lived by myself for about 4 years now. I lived with a boyfriend the last time I was living with someone.
Okay. Why did that end?
That ended because we just didn't see life the same way. He was in the military, which happy Memorial Day, and to all those serving and all that. I have absolutely no problem
Mm,
with the military because I don't want that to come off as like something, but he, as far as like back then when I wanted to get married to him and have kids, he wanted to pursue his career,
mm.
which is fine, but I can't be, I wasn't able to be strung along like that. That's just kind of how it ended.
So you ended it?
It was a mutual
Yeah.
ending. Yeah. And I feel like, I was in my early to mid 20s. We were both changing as people. And I just kind of feel like we decided that we really were not meant to be together.
How long ago was that?
4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been dating for 4 years. You haven't found a guy that was worthy for anything longer term?
No, my last relationship I was in was 2 years ago.
Mm. And why did that one end?
That one ended because we fought a lot, and I don't think that it was a very healthy relationship. He was the type of person that did not make me a priority, and that's what led to so many fights.
What
Not
does
that
that
I
mean,
wanted.
not making you a priority? Like, can you give me an example?
Yeah, so he was in television.
Mm,
So he was very much about his image and all of that, and his friends were above all. Everybody else was above all. Himself, he was above all, which is fine. I'm not saying I don't ever want to be someone's number one priority. I should never be someone's number one priority.
mhm.
But I always felt like I was at the bottom of the totem pole. I almost felt like I was begging for his attention. And so that's pretty much why it ended.
I mean, a woman wants a guy with a sparkle in his eye, but they don't want that sparkle to be them, right?
Yeah.
So this is where things get a little touchy, difficult, right? So you're with a top shelf guy. He's in television. He's making his career his priority. Um, what's wrong with that exactly? Like, what's wrong with him putting that dent in the universe and then, taking you along for the ride, and you're a passenger on that bus, and you build a family together?
There was nothing wrong with that part of it, but it's when it was other people. So, for instance, he had a lot of friends who were girls, which I don't have a problem with. But at the same time, if there are people that I haven't met that you used to date and you're going out to dinner with them, but you haven't taken me out to dinner in a while, then what are we doing here?
Okay.
It's just like it
He was leaving
was,
some doors open, is what you
yeah.
think? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, look, I mean, if you've got the intention to go in a certain direction, find a guy, have a family, settle down, do all that stuff, that's fine. That's why we're here, right? That's why we're on the planet, to do all these things. You're going to have to date categorically with intention in that area, but without coming off as too terse, if you know what I mean. Do you know what the word terse means?
No, but I guess I could look it up.
Yeah. So funny story. So I used to work in collections back in my 20s, and I had a review. You'd go in every year, and they review you, and they write all this shit down, and you'd read it. And I was like, what the hell does terse mean, right? And it's like, it's one of the words that sort of stuck out because that's who I am, right? Like, I'm a firstborn. I want to get shit done. I don't sugarcoat things. Rainbows and butterflies aren't for me, but I'm a man, and that works, right? You do come off as a little bit terse, right? Like, you do come off as a little bit harsh. You do come off, as like, I got this. I don't need a man. Like, I can figure this out. And you know what? Even if it doesn't get figured out, I'll still be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth of the matter is there's loads and loads of women in their 40s and 50s that never had the opportunity to have a family, that don't have any kids, that are surrounding themselves with pets, a lot of the times, and trying to, placate that vacuum, with something.
Mm-hmm.
Soften it down a little bit, right? There's a lady on YouTube, Suzanne Vanker, and she talks more to women when it comes down to getting to the point of building a family dynamic and having children and all that sort of stuff. She's got a lot of really good podcasts, in that area, and she tries to help women out. I think women will more than likely listen to something like that. But I can tell you from the perspective of the kind of guy that you want, and I know the exact type of like avatar that you're looking for. You're not going to be the priority at the end of the day, but you will be important. And what he's looking for is he's looking for a woman that will be a complement to his life, not the focus of it.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? Like, and you have to be okay with that, right? Like, you have to be okay with coming in that place, because your place in that guy's life is going to end up being the mother, the homemaker, you're not going to be the breadwinner, right? Because
Mhm.
you want to date that guy that's better than you. You know, you want that arm candy that you can show up, you know, with your friends, bring them out to Thanksgiving. Hey, this is Bob, you know, Big Bob sort of over here, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's got like a nickname for him. But yeah, you got to soften down a little bit. You know what I mean? Like you got to stop drinking the boss bitch Kool-Aid, you know. Drink some water, you know, from time to time, and stop sipping on the hardcore stuff, because when you come off that edgy, you got to remember, like, when guys are out working hard and they're putting a dent in the universe, and they're doing something of some significance, they don't want to come home to a nightmare. They don't want to come home to a fight. They don't want to come home to why do you know, it's like, you know, they want pleasantries, they want love, they want a nice meal, they want to be kissed, you know, they want to see beauty,
Yeah.
you know.
Which, I mean, and I will say, like, in a relationship, I'm not edgy like this. I love a healthy banter, but I always like turn myself as like the Sour Patch Kid.
What
First,
do you
I'm
think?
sour and then I'm sweet, sort of situation.
What do you think would happen if we called your ex right now and asked him, is Diana a bit tough? Is she a little bit terse?
I think he would agree with you in a sense. But at the same time, my ex was a nice guy. So I was definitely toned down for that
Yeah.
because I can read a room. I understand that. But I will say that, you know, part of my terseness, if you want to call it that, definitely has a lot to do with just the society we live in these days. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
as you said, you know, guys are being made to be weaker, and you, like you said, women are being made to be stronger. It's not that that's how I necessarily have made myself into it, but I feel like the society we live in. And I will say, a lot of the guys that I have gone on dates with, the ones that are like just down to, you know, have sex and all that kind of stuff, I'm not going to be nice to that person. I don't want to
Mm.
be nice to that person. That's disrespectful towards me. So I feel like a lot of that terseness is initial because I'm trying to,
It's
you
a
know,
barrier. It's a
it is
protective mechanism.
yeah.
So how do you balance out protecting yourself from guys like that and also still being feminine to attract the right guy, right? Like the soft side of the feminine gal that you need to be. Like the number one selling book in the world is it's something about bitches, men love bitches or something like that. You know the book that I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
What's it called?
I can't remember, but it's something like that, but I don't remember exactly what it's called. I've never read it.
Have any of your girlfriends read it or talked about it?
I don't think so.
Why men love bitches? Thank you, Moff. Yeah. That one. Yeah. This is the number one selling book in the world when it comes to giving advice on love and dating in the landscape. And it's like, it is the worst book I've ever gone through. And it essentially masculinizes women, tells them to be disagreeable, basically tells them to be boss bitches, right? And it's like,
Mhm.
guys don't want to deal with that. They want a woman. They want
Yeah.
to, you know, they want somebody soft and beautiful and feminine with curves. That smells nice. You know, they don't
Yeah.
want, you know, the hen pecking stuff. Before we wrap up, let me ask you a question. Your ideal guy, what age range would he be in?
Probably anywhere from 30 to like 45.
Okay, so I'm just gonna pull up my calculator here. Exclude married, obviously, because you don't want to date a married guy. Do you have any preference for race, white, black, Asian, or any color or shade matter for you?
Um, Not necessarily, no.
Okay, minimum height for you. Do you have a height preference for guys?
Probably like 5'10" and above, I guess.
Okay, how tall are you?
5'3".
5'10 is pretty good. Like, is that a hard line in the sand? You won't do like a 5'8"?
Well, if I'm in 6-inch heels, and I'm just basing it off my heel height. So if I'm in
Okay,
6-inch heels, then I'm at least the same height around. So okay,
got it.
5'9", you want to go 5'9", that's fine.
Okay, so let's drag the bar down to 5'9" and exclude obese. You like fit guys, or does that even matter?
I'm down for a dad bod.
Dad bod's not obese. Okay,
Not
so we'll just exclude that then. Minimum income. How much money do they have to make to
it
date you?
honestly, I'm not like, money is not a matter, like it does not matter to me.
At
As
least
long
what
as
you
you're
make, I would
happy doing
imagine.
what you do, that's all that matters to me.
At least what you make, I would imagine.
That's fine. I've dated guys who have not made as much as me.
Okay. So there's this online calculator that was created by some engineers and some geeks on ideal men and women's dating preferences. It's the URL is igotstandardsbro.com. So it's kind of a funny one here, but let me share it with you on the screen just to sort of give you an idea of what your demographics look like. Not married, any race, at least 5'9", not obese. I put earning at least $85,000 a year. In that age range, in the demographics in North America, the chances of you finding that guy is about 1.7% of the male population. It's pretty low.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you factor in that guys don't really want to deal with difficulties, top shelf guys, the kind of guys that you're gonna want to chase. And I'm not saying chase men, but the kind of guys that you want, to invite into your life to create a family with, they've got a lot of options. So being pleasant, being agreeable, like these are all things that you're going to have to kind of come to grips with, or don't. You can just kind of carry on, just be like, I'm just going to do me. But what I can tell you from experience, and I've talked to lots and lots of dudes now, thousands, at this point, and I've gotten lots and lots of feedback. Been doing these podcasts for years now, is most guys don't want to deal with the difficulties of headaches when it comes to getting pushed around, run in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
If they're going to lead, because women want guys to lead. They want to look up to a giant. They want to be in a guy's frame. They don't want to be with a wimp.
Yeah.
If there's one thing I know that disgusts women is wimpy men. Right. So you've got to soften your tone. You got to soften your demeanor. You got to tune into your feminine side.
Okay.
Good luck, Diana.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Take care. I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here and pin down below in the top comment. You'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.